Hollywood, California, this is SMPTE 2016 Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
Hello and welcome to 2016 SMPTE Live. I'm your host, Ryan Salazar. Today we have two very special guests, Rex Olson, Vice President of Marketing Programs at Newtek. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Ryan. Thank you.
Great. Always excellent to have you guys on the show. We also have Michael Kammes, Director of Technology at Keycode Media. How are you, Michael?
Great. Good to see you again, Ryan.
Good to see you. So, Newtek, the NDI announcements that you guys just recently made, I'm blown away, and I'm a new NDI user. We've got a TriCaster 460, and our entire facility is being tricked out. Just talk about NDI a little bit for folks that don't know what it is.
Okay, well, NDI is a technology that allows equipment to discover, share audio and video and other data across a standard computer network. It basically replaces conventional cabling in a studio by putting all of that equipment on a computer network.
All right, so Michael, if you could, just explain the synergy that you have with Newtek at Keycode.
Well, Keycode Media has been a partner of Newtek's for quite a while. Not only do we consult on the technology, but we sell it and then support it. And the great thing about Keycode is that we're across multiple verticals, whether it be the traditional entertainment space here in LA, or whether it's educational or even government. And the fact that TriCaster and the surrounding products can play in almost any vertical for distance communication makes it a really, really good fit.
How can NDI complement IP workflow standards like AIMS or Aspen?
Well, it does exactly that. It complements it. AIMS and Aspen and other standards are higher bit rate, different type of infrastructure. They're basically looking for a solution to replace traditional SDI. And as you know, SDI is a one-way street. It's an output to an input and back and forth. Well, NDI allows you, by allowing you to put all of that information, video, audio, and data on a network, that's a two-way street. Now equipment can communicate with each other. So as far as being able to complement those other standards, you kind of have to think of it as you would a typical web browser. In a web browser, we can look at JPEG images, PNGs, we can look at text, we can look at videos, all sorts of things. So all kinds of different types of data are coming into that and being used. And that's how we're viewing video on the network. There'll be all sorts of different types of systems that can be shared on that same network, and we're one of a couple of options.
Excellent. So I've built quite a few facilities in my time. I remember rebuilding a facility. We ran over 7 miles of SDI cable. I mean, the pile when we pulled it out eventually was about this. I did like snow angels on it, you know. For real, I have a picture of that. So it's just amazing how everything's changed. But again, like I was saying, I started using NDI. And I'm just blown away how all the manufacturers, or so many software manufacturers, are developing stuff around it where you can integrate it in your facility. We installed, Jorge is one of your technical guys in Florida. We installed an NDI app on my laptop, and almost instantaneously I was able to switch and show video off of my laptop with the switcher. It's just amazing. So how have other customers and partners been using NDI?
Well, in a variety of different ways. Just like you described, when you adopted NDI and got to use it, there's an aha moment that happens. Because at first it's like, you know, video on the net, whatever. Everyone is used to the same method of connecting equipment that's been used for decades. You know, cabling going in one way. Once you put that video on the network and it's now available to all these other systems that are also NDI enabled, it's an incredible realization of what you can accomplish. I'm sure Michael's been able to see some of those advantages as well.
Yeah, one of the major advantages is that when people are communicating via video, it's not just video conferencing anymore. It's not just a talking head. People want to see computer graphics. They want to see, dare I say, PowerPoint slides. They want to see this additional information. And being able to use NDI to get your laptop, your desktop, whatever, to be immersed in that traditional video space seamlessly makes it very easy for clients to have compelling presentations without having to worry about, well, this is IT and this is AV.
All right. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
Well, it really removes a lot of barriers in terms of being able to access different types of video sources. So if you think of a traditional newsroom, you've got your anchors and your cameras and all the writers that sit behind them and all the computer displays. Well, imagine right now, it's limited to however many of those stations that they might have scan converters connected to a couple of those stations. Well, with NDI, every one of those correspondents can be an on-camera reporter, because NDI makes it possible to connect all of that together.
So we were actually the breaking media organization that broke the news about the Newtek IP Series. So exciting, and got to keep quiet for like 10, 15 days when we did the recording. But I was blown away. So there's NDI, and then there's the Newtek IP Series. So go ahead and explain what that is.
Okay. Well, the Newtek IP Series is a brand new system. Everyone's familiar with Newtek TriCaster, which is a integrated video production system. The IP Series is a modular video production system that takes full advantage of NDI technology. So you have basically a video mix engine and input modules and output modules, and it's a fully scalable system. Unlike TriCaster, the IP Series has up to 44 inputs available. So the input barrier of the past has been completely disintegrated now with 44 inputs. And since it's scalable, you can use from 4 to 44 inputs, and you can use it as needed, add on to it as needed.
Well, what's exciting is, there are different modules, if you will, for the system, and the ability, especially for like an educational institution, houses of worship, you can put this piece of, my understanding is that you put a piece of hardware at one end of the facility, you pop it into the Ethernet network, and then all of a sudden it's accessible, those SDI inputs that go into, what's the name of that device? That's where you plug SDI and you kind of inject SDI devices into the network.
Right, you have the IP Series input modules so that you can plug in SDI sources, and then you have the output modules to be able to output back out to SDI. So once that video has been converted from SDI to NDI, it remains in that world. So there's no degradation of signal that goes on from one piece of equipment to another. So you may have a graphic system on the network, you may have a replay system, a graphic system, a telestrator, all sorts of different things, and they all can interact with each other and be shared with each other on that network.
All right, so you guys are being referred to or you refer to yourselves as a software company now versus a hardware company. Technically, you're a little bit of both, but why is this so important?
Well, Ryan, honestly, Newtek has always been a software-driven company. We've just kind of decided to bring that to the forefront, to bring attention to that fact, because as time goes on and as we are approaching 4K and 8K and every other K that'll come along in the future, computer-based video production just makes sense. Once you get that video into the computer realm, there's no limitations other than bandwidth and processor power. So Newtek, all of the work that Newtek has done in the past, we're seeing the benefits of that now. In fact, NDI technology is over 12 years old, really. It began the very first, or just before the very first TriCaster systems came on board, when we wanted to be able to let people share PowerPoint presentations or images with the TriCaster, again, across the network. So this is not brand new technology, it's just very matured technology.
All right, so Michael, and you working with Keycode Media for so long, and I'm sure you guys see this. I consider myself a hybrid. The old school in me, the broadcast engineer, and then the new, like kind of the IT mix. I'm sure you get a lot of pushback when it regards to this. And I wasn't sure either until I started using the technology, and then, like you said, there's an aha moment. So I'm curious, I'm sure that, at least I'm seeing that a lot of people are adopting this technology. Could you maybe elaborate on those types of companies that are interested?
Sure, we're deploying it, but there's been a lot more discussion. Because what we were looking at, as I mentioned earlier, is a hybrid between, as you mentioned, AV and IT. And unfortunately, as much as we just want to wheel in a whole NDI infrastructure and say, go to town, there's a lot more behind that. So it takes a concerted effort between whoever's doing the video production as well as who's doing the infrastructure to make sure that you're set up to do that. And that means, I'm sure you're still seeing clients that are saying, you know what, I think we need to upgrade to HD. Right? They're still using SD gear.
Sure.
So to make that leap from SD to HD and to NDI, it can be slow goings. But a lot of the larger municipal projects we're working on, ones that are 12 months out, 14 months out, all of them, they're all going NDI, they're all going some kind of video over IP protocol, because that undoubtedly is where we're headed.
What's also kind of interesting is that, again, of the past where we were concerned about standards and which one to choose, and I don't want to get stuck with the wrong one, which has happened, right? Well, we're in a kind of a different world now, where multiple standards can coexist and succeed. And the beautiful thing about NDI is that there are actually over 1 million NDI-capable systems out there right now. And there are over 1,000 developers who have downloaded the SDK for NDI that are working on applying NDI to their applications, to their equipment. So we've really seen this thing take off, and we're very, very excited about where it's going.
All right, so Michael, you sell these products all the time. The TriCaster Advanced Edition, and I'm very new to the TriCaster. We have the 460 in our facility, but what's the difference between the Advanced as well as the standard, I guess?
Well, the biggest thing, not to keep tying it back to NDI, but
Yep.
the Advanced Edition is bringing that NDI functionality to the existing TriCaster base. So we don't have to do what we call a forklift upgrade, which is throw the baby out with the bathwater and get all new gear. You can use your existing gear, add on Advanced Edition, and get some of that NDI functionality in your own facility.
Okay, excellent. Now, as far as, there are so many automations that you can do inside of the TriCaster. We recently, like I was saying just a little earlier before this discussion, we had automations with macros, and we literally automated the entire production process. It was just so amazing. And I think back to the days of the toaster, and it's just amazing how your company has evolved.
It's really
Yeah,
We've seen a lot of clients, because there's a web server actually built into the TriCaster, to actually route it to an iPad or a mobile device and be able to control the whole show. So we're actually seeing folks who are not technically oriented having macros written and be able to activate and run their entire webcast through a mobile device.
And with Advanced Edition, NDI, the addition of NDI is huge, but it's really only the beginning. There's also many new features that have been added to Advanced Edition, including our compositing engine that brings keyframeable DVE type moves. You want to do multi-box effects and fly them on, fly them off, exchange them. That's possible. We have a feature called augmented reality that's been added to the MixFX Bus keys that allow you to incorporate key sources into that virtual set as if they are either part of that set or floating. So for instance, our virtual sets have desks in some of them. If you want to attach a logo to the front of that desk, now it's as simple as bringing up in a keyer and turning on augmented reality. So that's only a couple. There are several more very powerful features in Advanced Edition.
Okay, so let's talk about Newtek Connect Pro. What is that?
Well, Connect Pro is an NDI application that allows you to bring in video sources, for instance, a PTZ camera, or maybe a camera, different types of cameras, or different other video sources. You can bring in video clips, stills, various video sources through a computer, and then put those sources on the network so that they can be seen by TriCaster and IP Series or other NDI sources.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite new software applications from Newtek?
Well, we released a bunch of them. Telestrator's fun. We've been wanting Telestrator for a long time, and it's always been something that we're like this close to being able to do with the various technology that Newtek has developed. But through the magic of NDI, we've been able to come up with a Telestrator that's fantastic. So for educational uses, obviously for sports, boom, a Telestrator is just like that on any laptop, computer, NDI source in the system. There's also, you mentioned the other standards, 2022 AIMS. We're able to take that and convert it into NDI as well. So those sources can be used right into NDI. So as I said earlier, we're not in a space of beta versus M format or whatever, 1-inch versus digibeta. That's kind of gone. Now it's a matter of playing together and playing together well.
To add on that, Ryan, one of the cool things that we got to work with a couple weeks ago was the plugin for Premiere. right? So we now can play out of the timeline on Premiere and have that as a video source into your TriCaster. So you don't need to have, a baseband video card and then route that, right? What we also were able to do is, and I'm going to get a little geeky here, it's codecs, I love talking about codecs, is that you can actually play it with an alpha channel. So we have folks who are doing lower thirds in Premiere in real time, playing that out, and it plays out as a lower third with alpha on the TriCaster.
Kind of like a graphics server, I guess?
Exactly,
okay.
exactly. So now it's not replacing a Chiron by any stretch, but you now can do your own graphics on the fly, and you don't have to get someone who knows just how to use that application. It's anyone who knows Premiere or After Effects.
And that's a huge advantage of NDI is that with SDI, and you want to connect to a graphics system, you have to use two channels. One for the color channel, one for the alpha. With NDI, it's one signal that comes in to one channel, so you're not burning two channels. Secondly, and I want to let everyone know, if you want to, you can try out NDI right now for free. All you have to do is go to newtek.com, go to NDI, the NDI tab, and look for NDI tools. Because in there you will find video NDI monitor so that you can view NDI sources on a computer. You have scan converter, so you can send the signal from another computer and view it on that computer. And you have now the Adobe plugin has been included as part of that NDI tools for free. So you can start wrapping your head around NDI now. You don't have to wait, and you can really kind of get an understanding of the power of NDI, IP video, and being able to have those sources available on your computer network.
I think one of the things that's interesting about that is to download and try it now is that earlier we talked about blending of IT and AV, and I know a lot of folks have been concerned, well, if I'm pushing all this video around the network, do I need to completely redo my network? And the fact is with NDI, you don't have to, right? You're only sending video over the network when the machine requests it. Right? So you're not constantly bombarding your entire network with all these fat video streams. It's only when you have that one-to-one relationship.
And it's funny you mentioned that. I actually spoke with someone recently and they were concerned about that, and I said, no, I don't think that's the case. So that's really great to know.
When the handshake happens, it says, do you want to see my video? Yes, I want to see your video. There's the video stream, and as soon as you switch off, it stops sending that video. Right? So your network is never congested with all those video streams.
Very cool. Wow. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Again, Rex Olson, Vice President of Marketing Programs at Newtek. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ron.
And then Michael Kammes, Director of Technology at Keycode Media. It's always a pleasure having you on as well.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
All right, again, this has been another edition of SMPTE 2016 Live. We'll see you in a few minutes.